Hey gang, we're in here. Welcome on back to the Cade, and you know where we are at in this revisitation of Metal Gear Solid. It is the final showdown with Liquid Snake and the Colossus Metal Gear Rex. We didn't manage to take him down at the end of the last episode, so we're going to have to do it this time if we want to be able to finish the game, because it's a three-part fight. We've got to disable Metal Gear's radome on his left side first. Then we will have to take down Liquid in the cockpit once he's exposed. And then we will have to fight him on top of Metal Gear once we've taken it down. Now I'm going to run over here really quick and pick up these chaff grenades, which are going to be really helpful in this fight. And now it's a matter of range. Because the first thing he does is he will launch these rockets at us. We want to drop a chaff grenade and get ready with the Stinger missile to hit the radome. Now, we don't want to be too close because, one, it will deter our ability to lock on with the missile launcher, and that's the only thing that will do damage to Metal Gear Rex. And two, he's got a laser that is strategically placed right between the legs. We call it the junk laser. And it can do buku damage if you're not careful. Now, one thing that will help us in this fight is that if we can stay around him and get him to keep rotating. Except I didn't run in far enough on those missiles. The other thing is that if we use the walls to our advantage and hold him in tight quarters, he can overshoot us a little bit and gives us a little bit more time to lock in and hit him with the Stinger. I think we might actually have him kind of corralled in here. Well, that certainly got his attention. Not what I wanted to have happen. Now I just need to hit him one more time, and I can pop a ration. No, give me the body armor, give me the ration. There. Okay, now, in between episodes, I went back and did some research to make sure I had this down right. And the thing is that once the cockpit is exposed, instead of using chaff grenades, one of the things that we can start using now that is available here are stun grenades, because the stun grenades will actually halt Liquid just enough that he won't be able to target us and he won't be able to fire.
It's no good. I can't do it.
Now, in this section, obviously, we can't kill Gray Fox and we can't kill Liquid. So now, I want the stun grenades, which I had so much trouble with in the first fight. We got to be careful of the laser. Because it's got a slightly extended range on it now. But now we can mix the chaff grenades along with the stun grenades. Alright, now we just gotta keep moving. And it's like everything else, it's an attrition fight. We just gotta whittle him down. Alright, now that he's come in, we stay out of the way of the laser. No, not the C4. There we go. We're still doing okay, though. And now we only have to realistically hit him a couple more times. One more should do it. Turn around there, Cottontail. Stick your head out. There we go.
Snake, I'll crush you into dust.
Except you won't. Because now Rex has been beaten up so badly that we have taken him down. Now that that is done, I believe this final fight, if we manage to lose it, we can pick it up from here. At least I hope so. But Liquid obviously survived the fall of Metal Gear Rex. And what he's going to do is he's going to come grab us, haul us up onto the top of Metal Gear, and we're going to have a final showdown on his back.
Sleeping late as usual, a snake. Liquid, you're still alive. I won't die as long as you still live. Too bad. It looks like your revolution was a failure. Just because you've destroyed Metal Gear doesn't mean I am done fighting. Fighting? What are you really after? A world where warriors like us are honored as we once were, as we should be. That was Big Boss's fantasy. It was his dying wish. When he was young, during the Cold War, the world needed men like us. We were valued then. We were desired. But things, are different now. With all the liars and hypocrites running the world, war isn't what it used to be.
What a shame.
We're losing our place in a world that no longer needs us. A world that now spurns our very existence. You should know that as well as I do. After I launch this weapon and get our $1 billion, we'll be able to bring
It is funny to
chaos
think that
and
him asking
honor
for
back
$1 billion
to this
now,
world
25
gone
years
soft.
later, seems
Conflict will
very,
breed conflict.
very
New hatred will
small.
arise. Then,
When you think about how much money people like
steadily
Elon Musk and
expand
Jeff
our
Bezos and everybody who's got
But as long as there are
billions upon
people,
billions
there
upon
will
billions
always
of
be war.
dollars,
But the
it's like
problem
you're only
is
wanting $1 billion,
balance.
dude? That's
Father
it.
knew what type of a balance was best.
Is that the only reason?
Isn't it reason enough for warriors such as us?
I don't want that kind of world.
Ha! You lie. So why are you here then? Why do you continue to follow your orders while your superiors betray you? Why did you come here? Well, I'll tell you then. You enjoy all the killing. That's why.
What?
Are you denying it? Haven't you already killed most of my comrades?
That was...
I've killed most of them, yeah.
I watched your face when you did it. It was filled with the joy of battle.
You're wrong.
There's a killer inside you. You don't have to deny it. We were created to be that way.
Created?
And now we get the backstory on the program that created
Les enfants terribles.
Snake,
The terrible
both Solid
children.
Snake and Liquid Snake.
That's what the project was called. It started in the 1970s. Their plan was to artificially create the most powerful soldier possible. The person that they chose as the model was the man known then as the greatest living soldier in the world.
Big Boss.
But Father was wounded in combat and already in a coma when they brought him in. So they created us from his cells, with a combination of 20th century analog cloning and the super baby method.
Super baby method.
They fertilized an egg with one of Father's cells, and then let it divide into 8 clone babies. Then they transferred the clones to someone's uterus and later intentionally aborted 6 of the fetuses to encourage strong fetal growth. You and I were originally octuplets.
Octuplets?
Yes. The other 6 of our brothers were sacrificed to make us. We were accomplices in murder before the day we were even born. So it was you and I.
The interesting thing is that when you know the full storyline of all the subsequent Metal Gear Solid sequels, knowing there was a time when Big Boss was incapacitated and they could have used him for this project actually becomes very relevant.
The dominant genes were expressed to create you.
That really comes around in Metal Gear Solid 5.
You took everything from me before I was even born. But you and I aren't his only children.
What?
The Genome Soldiers. They too are his progeny, carrying on his genetic legacy. But they're different. They're digital. With the completion of the Human Genome Project, the mysteries of humanity were laid bare. Thanks to Father's DNA, they were able to identify more than 60 soldier genes responsible for everything from strategic thinking to the proverbial killer instinct. Those soldier genes were transplanted into the members of the next generation special forces. That's how they became the Genome Soldiers.
And there's, again, like most things in this game, there's a little bit of credence in that. Because once the final mapping of DNA was done, I remember reading a story about how a study in Sweden thought they discovered what they referred to as the criminal gene.
Created artificially through the alignment of nucleotides to mimic our father's genes. They too are the product of
and that was only within the last 10 years.
Sacrifices.
Human experiments. 1991, the Gulf War. The military secretly injected soldiers with the soldier genes. The Gulf War syndrome that hundreds of thousands of returning soldiers complained about was a side effect of it.
Ha! Everyone knows that the Gulf War syndrome was caused by exposure to depleted uranium used in the anti-tank rounds.
That was just a cover story issued by the Pentagon. First, they tried to say it was post-traumatic stress disorder, then chemical or biological weapons. The poison gas detection units and the anti-sarin injections, they were all just a cover-up of the secret genetic experiments.
So then, the so-called Gulf War babies that have been reported by Gulf War veterans are...
Yes, they too are our brothers and sisters.
So the Genome Soldiers mean that the experiments were a success?
Success? Don't be a fool. They're a complete failure. We are on the verge of extinction.
What?
Have you ever heard of the asymmetry theory? Nature tends to favor asymmetry. Those species which have gone extinct all show signs of symmetry. The Genome Soldiers suffer from the same problem. Signs of symmetry. So do I. As do you. That's right. We are all on the verge of death at the genetic level. We don't know when or what type of disease will occur. That's why we need the old man's genetic information.
You want Big Boss's DNA so you can save your family? It's very touching.
In nature, family members don't mate with each other, and yet they help each other to survive. Do you know why? It increases the chance that their genes will be passed on to a new generation. Altruism among blood relatives is a response to natural selection. It's called the selfish gene theory.
You're telling me that your genes are ordering you to save the Genome Soldiers?
You can't fight your genes. It's fate. All living things are born for the sole purpose of passing on their parents' genes. That's why I'll follow what my genes tell me. And then I'm going to go beyond,
Of course you are.
in order to break the curse of my heritage. And to do that, first, I will kill you. Look behind you.
Meryl! Is she alive?
I'm not sure. She was alive a few hours ago. Poor girl kept calling your name.
Meryl.
Stupid woman. Falling in love with a man who doesn't even have a name.
I have a name.
No! We have no past, no future, and even if we did, it wouldn't be truly ours. You and I are just copies of our father, Big Boss.
Let Meryl go.
As soon as we've finished our business, we're almost out of time.
You're talking about Fox Die.
No. It seems now that the Pentagon knows that Metal Gear is destroyed. They've arrived at a decision. They won't even need a PDA. If you want the details,
opposed
why
to
don't
an
you
NDA.
ask your precious Colonel Campbell?
Colonel, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm listening.
What is the Pentagon trying to do? Colonel, answer me.
The Secretary of Defense has taken over active control of this operation. He's on his way there by AWACS.
What for?
To bomb the place.
What?
Not only that, B-2 bombers just lifted off from Galena Air Force Base. They're carrying B-6113 surface-piercing tactical nuclear bombs.
What? Metal Gear is destroyed. Tell the Secretary of Defense.
The Secretary of Defense heard that Naomi double-crossed us, and he's worried about Fox Die. Now that there's no more danger of a nuclear strike from Metal Gear, he's going to do whatever's necessary to cover up the truth of what really happened here.
He's going to drop a nuclear bomb to vaporize all the evidence along with anyone who knows anything.
Don't worry, Snake. I'll stop the nuclear strike.
How?
I may only be a figurehead here, but I'm still officially in command of this mission. If I issue an order to delay the strike, it'll confuse the chain of command and at least buy you some time. It'll give you a chance to escape.
But, Colonel, if you do that...
It's okay, Snake. The truth is, Foxhound was already the subject of an undercover investigation. Merrill was transferred to this base just before the terrorist attack as a way of manipulating me.
Those bastards.
I'm sorry. They forced me to cooperate in exchange for her
So we get
life.
another conversation after
Better
he's been
get out of there,
told
Snake.
Are you sure?
that there are two
It'll be
B-2
bad for
bombers
you.
equipped with
Don't
nuclear
worry.
weapons heading
It's the
this
least I
way.
can do for you after all the
We
lies.
don't necessarily
Colonel.
have time to
I'm
check.
ordering them to cancel the bombing run. After that, there's no turning back. What? What are you doing? What?
Snake!
Mei Ling, what happened to the Colonel?
I don't believe it.
What happened?
Snake the Colonel!
Roy Campbell has been relieved of duty. This is the Secretary of Defense, Jim Houseman.
Put the Colonel back on.
He's been placed under arrest for leaking top-secret information and for the crime of high treason.
Ridiculous.
Yes, he's a ridiculous man. He truly believed that he was in command of this operation.
You bastard.
There won't be a speck of evidence left. I'm sure the President would want the same thing.
Of course.
President ordered this?
President is a
The
busy
busy man.
I have complete authority here.
How do you plan on explaining a nuclear attack on Alaska to the media?
Don't worry. We've prepared a convincing cover story. We'll simply say that the terrorists exploded a nuclear device.
Smart.
Schrodinger's
Ordering
nuke.
everyone here. The scientists, the genome army, everyone.
Donald, the DARPA chief, is already dead.
So, you didn't mean to kill the DARPA chief after all.
He was my friend.
And you could care less about what happens to everybody else, huh?
Well, if you give me the optic disc, I might consider saving them.
What are you talking about?
Metal Gear's test data. Donald was supposed to bring it back.
I don't have it.
I see. Oh well, that's okay. You two are an embarrassment from the 1970s. Our country's dirty little secret. You can't be allowed to live. Well, the bombs will be dropping soon, and you two have a lot of catching up to do. Farewell.
There's no way out for us. Let's finish this before the airstrike.
So now it comes down to a straight
Everything
fist
for
fight.
me. Only your death can satisfy me. Only your death can return to me what is rightly mine. She'll make a beautiful sacrifice for our final battle. Do you see this? It will
And
be
there's
the
a
time
bomb.
limit for our final battle. This nuclear module is set to detonate at the precise moment of her death.
So the space that we are fighting on is going to be very, very small because we're on the top of
Win,
Metal Gear.
you might still be able to save her.
And if we get too close to the edge, it's easy to slip off and
Could enjoy
fall.
one
And if we do,
brief
it's game
moment
over.
of love before the end. If you cross this line, you fall. At this height, it will kill even you.
So we'll have 2.5 minutes.
How about you, Snake?
So how this works is we have 3 minutes to put Liquid down. And what we need to do is we need to be able to hit him in those 3-shot combinations. So it'll be 2 punches and a kick, and then eventually what he will do is on every third attack attempt we do, he will do a slip and try and do that spin kick. And he'll do that for about the first minute. Then he will change up his attack.
Nice shot!
So we really just need to be able to mow him down. And when he sticks his head down like that, you absolutely want to hit him or get out of the way. But we're in really good shape right now. Because we got about 1:45 to go. And we've really, really whittled him down. Oh!
You're out of time! You're out of time!
Alright, I'm okay with doing that. As long as I avoid that head rush. And down he goes with 1:03 to go. So it can be done. The issue is that you've really got to lock in on the pattern and then just be consistent with how you hit the attack button. And part of the issue is, and it can be super frustrating, is that the hit window to tag Liquid is so small. And that even if you're hitting the attack button multiple times, sometimes you can only get that one punch off, and then
Is that you?
he'll just lay into you.
Snake, oh, you're alive. Thank God.
Meryl. Meryl, are you okay?
Are you okay? Is that all you can say?
Meryl, it must have been terrible.
Oh, it wasn't that bad.
I've only been shot 3 times, twice in the legs,
I
once
didn't
through
give
the
in to
arm.
torture.
Torture?
Then I got tortured.
And things even worse than that. I was fighting too. Just like you.
And then I had to
Strong
endure
woman.
things worse than
Fighting them
torture.
Made me feel closer to you.
How she
I
is
felt like you were
talking
there
at this
with
point
me.
is amazing.
It gave me the strength to go on. But I was scared.
I'm sorry.
Don't say that. But it made me realize something. During all the pain and shame, there was one thing I was sure of. A single hope that I held on to. And that hope kept me alive.
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news there, Meryl,
I wanted
but
to see you again.
we've got an even bigger problem heading our way at a high rate of speed.
That's my codec.
And it's about to inform us as such right now.
Snake, it's me.
Otacon, good news. Meryl's okay.
All right. You saved her, man. Good job.
I got some bad news, too. We're about to be bombed.
Oh, boy. I guess we're considered expendable.
Is there a way out of here?
A way out? Yeah. You can take the loading tunnel to the surface. There's a parking garage right next to you. The tunnel leads from there to the surface.
The door in front?
No. It's a small entrance to the west of that door.
How about the security?
I just unlocked it. Who do you think you're talking to? I'll take care of security along your escape route, too.
What are you going to do?
Me? I'll stay here.
Are you crazy?
I need a little more time to take care of your escape route.
But
Unlocking the security doors is difficult work. Only I can do it.
Otacon.
Don't worry. I'm staying here. It's my own decision.
Otacon, this is a hardened shelter, but they're going to use a surface-piercing nuclear bomb. It won't hold.
I'm through regretting the past. Life isn't all about loss, you know. Snake, I'm a complete person now. I've found a reason to live.
Good. Don't die on me.
Same to you. Take care of Meryl, okay?
I will.
Okay, I gotta go. I promise I'll do something about your escape route.
Thanks.
Thanks? Well, that sounds nice.
I believe in you.
Thanks, Snake.
Let's get the hell out of here.
What about him? Where's Otacon?
He's fighting right now. With his old self. To be the man he wants to be.
He's fighting for us too?
Tick.
I don't want it to be in vain.
Remember, bombers,
Me too.
nuclear weapons coming in, rate of not. Gotta get going here. Must go faster. Must go faster.
Meryl.
Snake.
Meryl.
Definitely time to go.
It started.
I must be heavy.
Looks like we're not gonna have a love scene after all.
Looks that way. Too bad.
Let's get out of here.
Well, considering at
Snake,
the early
it's
part of this
freezing
game,
outside. You need
when we
some
were
clothes.
introduced to Meryl, she made it abundantly clear that
There's my sneakers.
she'd been psychologically trained to not be
Hurry
interested in men anymore. What, you gonna stop and get dressed? Really?
Hurry! Looking good, Snake.
Less banter, more running. So in order to get out of here, we're going to commandeer a Jeep. And in the process of commandeering the Jeep, we're going to have to blast our way out.
Damn, a surveillance camera. Damn, no keys. All right, keys. I got it, Snake. Jump in. Fire that machine gun with your weapon button. Shoot him, Snake.
Trying to. So we finally get through all that. I'm almost already dead. And we're going to come to more stops. We're going to have to take out more guards. So I have one ration.
Uh-oh, Snake. Checkpoint.
Here they come.
We'll never make it. Snake, clear a path. Okay, Snake, let's go.
Now, having the barrels there is helpful, and that's what you want to aim at. But of course, there's no real targeting on
Not out
this.
of the woods yet.
Here they come.
We'll never make it. Snake, clear a path.
Are you kidding? He's right there. Why can't I hit him? That took way too long.
Snake?
And I'm almost dead again. And I have no more rations. And now here comes Liquid.
It's not over yet.
Liquid.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to make it through this. Yeah. Because I have one ration available to me. And targeting this machine gun is just so badly designed.
Hurry! I'll drive. Damn, a surveillance camera. Damn, no keys. All right, keys. I got it, Snake. Jump in. Fire that machine gun with your weapon button. Snake, hold on.
All right, so we've got 2 rations now. And we still got to go through the same stretch. And what I remember about having to do this was trying to get yourself in a position that by the time she skids to a halt, you're already ready to be able to take everybody out.
Here they come.
We'll never make it. Snake, clear a path. Okay, Snake, let's go.
So that was easier. What I definitely need to do is I need to take out the guy on the right
We're
first.
not out of the woods yet.
Here they come.
We'll never make it. Snake, clear a path.
All right.
You did it, Snake.
Yeah, I did. But now we've got Liquid to deal with. As he does his bob and weave.
Not yet, Snake. It's not over yet.
Liquid.
So now we're back to doing the weaving. And there's a way that you can, if you can lock it in right.
Look, Snake, daylight.
We just managed to get there. So in that fight, there's ways that you can, if you can set it up and time it just right, you can almost lock your machine gun on a spot where every time Liquid creeps back up out of ducking, the bullets are right there hitting him. And then it's just a matter of getting to this spot. So it looks like we've stacked one Jeep on top of the other.
Are you okay?
Yeah, just a little shook up.
Meryl, can you move?
It's no good. I can't move.
What
As
happened
she's
to
pinned
Liquid?
down under the Jeep.
I can't see him either.
Liquid's dead.
So certain are you?
Snake! Snake!
He's about to put it down and... Turns out Fox Die worked after all. And that, everybody, is the end of Liquid Snake.
If he's dead, that means...
Don't say it, Snake.
What happened to the air raid? No stealth bombers in sight.
Snake, can you hear me?
Colonel.
Are you okay?
Colonel, what happened?
I'm pinned down under
The
a Jeep. My
Secretary
legs
of
may be
Defense has
broken.
been arrested. Early retirement.
Other than that, I'm fine.
Arrested?
I was able to get into contact with the president. Metal Gear, the training exercise, all of it. It was all the Secretary of Defense acting alone.
Acting alone?
A rogue Secretary of Defense.
What happened to the air raid and the nuclear strike?
The orders were rescinded. The F-117s and the B-2 Spirits have returned to the base. Once again, I have complete authority over this operation.
I see.
Except I don't think you had much authority over it to begin with there, Roy.
A few secrets.
I wonder about that.
In any case, the danger's over. Thanks, Snake.
Colonel, you can rest easy. Meryl's fine.
Really? Thanks. Thank you, Snake. Snake, I'm sorry. I kept a lot of things from you.
It's okay, Colonel.
Snake, I'm not a colonel.
Oh, that's right.
I've got a present for you. There's a snowmobile close to you. Mei Ling saw it on the satellite photos. This time of year, the glaciers are pretty calm. You should be able to ride right out of there. I'll bet the boys at the DIA and the NSA never expected you to come home alive.
Me neither. I better not show my face around here.
No danger of that. You two officially died after your Jeep sank into the ocean.
That's not too far from the truth.
Also, there's a helicopter waiting for you on Fox Island.
Dr. Hal Emmerich should be somewhere on the base. I want someone to bring him in.
I understand. Leave it to me.
Okay, Roy. Are you gonna be okay?
Don't worry. I've got an insurance policy. A hard copy of all Mei Ling's data. As long as I've got that, you, me, and Mei Ling will be fine.
The battery on these nanomachines will run out soon. They won't be able to follow us.
I guess we won't meet again.
Don't worry. I'll pay you a visit sometime.
Really? I look forward to that.
Roy, just tell me one thing.
What?
About Fox Die.
Meryl will be fine. She wasn't included in its programming.
What about me? It killed Liquid.
Naomi said that she wants to talk to you face to face about that.
How is she?
Don't worry. Mei Ling is with her right now. I'm switching over to Naomi.
Snake, it's me.
Naomi.
I heard about my brother.
I'm sorry. But he had one last message he wanted to say to you. He told me to tell you to forget about him and to go on with your own life.
Frankie said that?
Yeah. He also said he'll always love you. Naomi, your brother just saved you, me, and the whole world. He fought with every ounce of strength in his body.
Maybe. Maybe now he's finally found some peace. He wasn't really my brother anymore. Ever since he fought with you in Zanzibar, he's been like a ghost. A ghost looking for a place to die.
Naomi, Liquid died from Fox Die too. What about me? When am I gonna go?
That's up to you.
What do you mean?
Everybody dies when their time is up.
Yeah, so when's mine up?
It's up to you how you use the time left to you. Live, Snake. That's all I can say to you.
So she doesn't give him any idea of how long it's going to be before he ultimately kicks it.
Each person is born with
since
their
we
fate
have
written into their own genetic
3 more
code. It's
sequels to go through,
unchangeable, immutable.
it's going to be a bit.
But that's not all there is to life. I finally realized that. I told you before the reason that I was interested in genes and DNA. Because I wanted to know who I was. Where I came from. I thought that if I analyzed my DNA, I could find out who I was, who my parents were. And I thought that if I knew that, then I'd know what path I should take in life. But I was wrong. I didn't find anything. I didn't learn anything. Just like with the genome soldiers, you can input all the genetic information, but that doesn't make them into the strongest soldiers. The most we can say about DNA is that it governs a person's potential strengths, potential destiny. You mustn't allow yourself to be chained to fate, to be ruled by your genes. Humans can choose the type of life they want to live. Snake, whether or not you're in the Fox Die program isn't important. The important thing is that you choose life. And then live. Don't you think, Snake? Don't worry. I'm going to choose life too. Until today, I've always looked for a reason to live.
How Meryl's going to be able to navigate her way down that sort of terrain, as banged up as she is, having taken 3 sniper bullets to 3 separate limbs.
Genes exist to pass down our hopes and dreams for the future through our children.
It's very 80s action movie-esque.
Living is a link to the future. That's how all life works.
And actually, it looks like she took 4.
Loving each other.
1 in each arm, 1 in each leg.
That's how we can change the world. I finally realized it. the true meaning of life. Thank you, Snake.
Look, I found this.
Let's keep it as a reminder.
Of what? A reminder of a successful mission? Or the first time we met?
A reminder of how to live.
Huh?
Until today, I've lived only for myself. Survival has been the only thing I care
And now we get
about in
the
my
patented
life.
80s ham-fisted ending.
That's not just you. That's how everyone is.
I only felt truly alive when I was staring death in the face. I don't know. Maybe it's written into my genes.
What about now? What do your genes say about your future now?
Maybe it's time I live for someone else.
Someone else?
Yeah. Someone like you. Maybe that's the real way to live.
So, where to, Snake?
David. My name's David.
Okay. So where to, Dave?
I think it's time we look for a new path in life.
A new path?
A new purpose.
Will we find it?
We'll find it. I know we'll find it.
What are those?
Caribou. To the Aleutians, the caribou is a symbol of life. It'll be spring here soon.
For us too.
Yeah. Spring brings new life to everything. It's a time for hope. I've lived here a long time, but Alaska has never looked more beautiful. The sky, the sea, the caribou, and most of all, you.
I think I'm gonna like this new life.
Come on. Let's enjoy life.
Couldn't be more wholesome an ending if you paid them. And that is Metal Gear Solid. We get this postscript here. And then we get the credits. Now, as is with most Metal Gear games, you could argue that this pioneered the idea of having Easter eggs put in and post the credit scenes. Not saying that that's how it is, but it was one of the first times I discovered this for myself in playing a video game. But this gives me a chance to kind of go back and give you my assessment of it overall. So, usual two questions. Is this a good game? Yes. In terms of what it was as an action game, for its time, it was a very good game, and personally to me, it still remains a very good game. Granted, I am partial to these games. I've already played 3 of them on this channel. So I'm looking at it fairly biasedly. But if you look online and you look at the general reviews for this game, even now, a little over 25 years later, they still hold up really, really well. It's a game that people at the time were really impressed by. It was a game that Sony needed to sell the PlayStation to prove that the technology would work. And that it was something that, because it was exclusive also only to PlayStation, it was one of the original PlayStation exclusives. Now, granted, nowadays it's not as important a thing, and we've seen over the last couple of years, it's also not something that is taken as seriously, it seems like. But back when the PlayStation first started, having these games that were available only on the PS1 was as vital as having Mario games, Zelda games, Metroid, all the games that were exclusive to the Nintendo 64 at the time, as well as the NES and the Super NES, and all the games that were still available for the Sega Genesis, Saturn, soon to be on the Dreamcast. The anticipation for when this game was released was, dare I say, on par to when Final Fantasy VII was initially released. Granted, we're talking about two totally different things. We're talking about a Japanese RPG that went on to be considered one of, if not the greatest, arguably, JRPG of all time. Don't at me with Chrono Trigger and other stuff. I said arguably. I'm not saying it's definitively. But you could definitely put Final Fantasy VII in the argument. Whereas Metal Gear Solid, Metal Gear was a fairly dormant franchise by 1997-98. And that Hideo Kojima had managed to convince Konami to bring it back, bring it out of mothballs, and do an entirely 3D game with an entirely new storyline that expanded on what he did in Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2, and wrapped up some of the loose ends, but also set the table for Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, which is a prequel that predates events in the original Metal Gear and sets all that up, then Metal Gear 4 and Metal Gear Solid 4 and Metal Gear Solid 5. And in a lot of ways, it's a travesty that we never really got the definitive ending for Metal Gear, at least not yet. But since Hideo Kojima and Konami have split, and Konami still owns the IP to Metal Gear, the odds of us getting a true conclusion to this story, who rightly knows? Metal Gear Solid 5, as good a game as it is, did not have the ending Kojima initially put in it, and it's part of why he and Konami parted company. Is this a game they could make today? Yes, they could, and actually, they have just released the Delta version, essentially the remastered version of Metal Gear Solid 3. They did do the legacy versions of Metal Gear Solid 2, and Metal Gear Solid 3 last year. I have heard that those versions are not anywhere near as good as they could have been, both graphically and in terms of improvements made to the game. Which is why I also wanted to go back and play the original PlayStation version, because to me, this is still the definitive version of it. That is not to say it is not without its faults. As you, of course, heard in the final fights we had with Metal Gear and with Liquid, the controls can get very, very clunky at the worst times. And as helpful as it was back in the day to have, well, to just have to press the R2 or the L2 button and be able to scroll through and pick the item that you want or the weapon that you want, that really hasn't aged all that well. Because without a proper inventory system to help scale back what you have, it can make it so at a time when you need a really specific weapon, you can inadvertently grab the wrong thing. And it can just utterly destroy any opportunity that you have to beat a fight.
You mustn't allow yourself to be chained to fate, to be ruled by your genes. Humans can choose the type of life they want to live. The important thing is that you choose life, and then live.
So now we will get this stat sheet, or no, this is the cutscene.
Yes, sir. The entire unit was wiped out. Those two are still alive. The Vector? Yes, sir. Fox Die should become activated soon. Right on schedule. Yes, sir. I recovered all of Rex's dummy warhead data. No, sir. My cover is intact. Nobody knows who I really am. Yes, the DARPA chief knew my identity, but he's been disposed of. Yes, the
yourself to rule the world. No, sir. No one knows that you were the third one, Solidus. What should I do about the woman? Yes, sir. I'll keep her under surveillance. Yes. Thank you. Goodbye, Mr. President.
So, if you couldn't pick up on whose voice that was Ocelot's. And this sets the table for Metal Gear Solid 2. So, and then you get this explanation of how you did, how many saves, continues being found, how many enemies you killed, rations used, and then you get a special item, in which case it is the bandana and a codename. So my codename now for this game is Leopard. It is possible to get Snake, and if you really, really crush this game, I think you can get Fox. But you basically have to play a perfect game to get it. Either one of those. So save the mission data, and you can go back through this game. It was kind of a proto-New Game Plus. And the bandana allows you to have unlimited ammunition. And now the game will restart. So, really, I mean, as much as I would love to see a completely updated version of Metal Gear Solid, I think for its time and for what it is, it's better served being where it is in the history of video games. Especially because with Metal Gear Solid 2, as controversial as that game was, it does flesh out the story even more. And then Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater, it was really the best of the bunch. And in a lot of ways, like Dark Souls 3, it snuck up on a lot of people. Like, I didn't expect there to be a Metal Gear Solid 3, and all of a sudden I went to my local game store, and there it was. And then I took it and played it, and loved it. And then Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots, honestly, I don't remember that much about. Even though I have played it and I have beat it. And then Metal Gear Solid 5, because it's not a truly completed game, I've never really gone back and finished it all the way. I'm like 3/4 of the way through. So, but now that this playthrough is done, we can go back to normal programming of doing our one-day playthroughs, as well as WTF Wednesday, and then on the weekends doing Sports Saturday and Suckerpunch Sunday. If you're new to the channel, those are our regular bread and butter programs that we do, and then we will eventually schedule our next playthrough a bit further on down the line. I will tell you, we are not going to do another Metal Gear game for a little while, and we had done a role-playing game before that with Dark Souls Remastered, so we've got to kind of figure out a change of direction of what we're going to do. But if you've been enjoying the content, as always, best way to show it, hit the like button, subscribe if you are new, ring the bell to be notified of new episodes as they are released. Be sure to follow us on social media through Instagram and Threads at Ronan's Retro Arcade. Help spread the word about us as we continue to build this channel and build our community and make it bigger and better. And if there is a game that you would like to see us feature sometime down the line, from the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Master System, Sega Genesis or MegaDrive, SNK, Neo-Geo, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2, leave it in the comments below or drop me a line on social media. It can be any game from those consoles that you want. My name is Ronan. Thank you very much for joining us for this revisitation of Metal Gear Solid. It was trying at times, but it was still a lot of fun, and we will talk to you in the next one. Bye.